Hey, what is up, YouTube? My name is Matthew Jones. I am with my channel, A Random Jones, where I talk about all sorts of different things going on in my life, like travel or cooking. Or today, we're actually going to be talking about a new project I want to take on. It is my birthday soon, and I want to purchase a C5 Corvette, preferably a convertible. And so we are going to take a look at a couple of different options. I'm going to tell you what I am looking at, what I am thinking about these different vehicles, and then I'm going to put together the story of what I choose, how I get it home, how I get it fixed up, and turn it into a really awesome birthday present to myself. So let's jump in and start taking a look at a couple different things. So I really kind of narrowed this down to 4 options. I've looked around the country, looked probably, I think the furthest one's about 10 hours away, seen some really beautiful cars. I've decided I want a convertible, so that kind of narrows it down. For those that are not familiar, we're talking about a C5 Corvette. This would be 1997 through 2004. And so I've got a couple 2001 models on here. I think I got a 98 model. We'll take a look at some of the pros and cons and things of that nature. And then hopefully in a couple days, we'll do a nice little follow-up. I will show you what I get and give you all the good details on that. So if I jump in here, we've got our first candidate. This is something I'm taking a look at in Houston, Texas. And so this guy's got a Corvette. This is a 2001. I believe it's got probably like 150,000 miles on it. It's got some transmission problems, and so there's a few issues with that. Recent. I don't necessarily think it's that big of a deal, but we can jump in here. He's got a nice profile view. You've got the emblems on it. You've got some nice wheels. I think those are custom. New tires, so if I buy it, not something I have to go and put money into. Already got the updates to the some of the lights, so not the stock factory lights. I'm not sure how I feel about white. I think if I got something that was stock, I'd probably go with like the LED halos in here, and probably like the little F1 flashing light. I think I would really like that. Looks like the updated side marker there. So this looks like a great car. You know, I really could see myself getting this. Transmission could be a little bit of an issue, but I am not necessarily afraid of that. I'm not afraid of jumping in and getting a transmission replaced. The cost and, you know, where that fits money-wise, I think I can probably work that. So, yeah, probably does have, you know, the scuffs and paint chips and stuff like that from age. And these things are, you know, 25 years old almost. But I think that this one looks really good. And so it looks nice. It's got the double din radio already in. It does have a little front cover plate. If any of you are in a state where you have to have a front license plate, you know, law's a law. Some states will let you just throw the front plate up on the dash. So, you know, if you're looking at it from the front, you can see it. Okay. But there's this really nice little, you know, Corvette plate that goes on the front. I think I would want that. I don't need a front license plate, so in my state, not a big deal. So I wanted to say Corvette. I want the little piece that goes in there. So this guy has actually got that in his car. He is in Texas. He throws his plate up on the dash, calls it good. Problem, gonna need a transmission. And when I say it's a problem, for me, I've talked to some people in Houston. I can get the car to a place. They will pull the transmission for me. They will rebuild the transmission for me. And it's just money. But it takes about 3 days. So do I want to, you know, hop on a plane, fly to Houston, get this car somewhere, wait 3 days? I don't know. Other option, not necessarily a huge fan of this one, but I could go out and pay $200 to $300, not too bad, to have them put it on one of those big car hauler things. And so you get like, you know, 4, 5, 6 cars on there and they're hauling it. How well a Corvette is going to do in that type of situation for, I don't know, 500-mile trip? No idea. It's bad enough if you just had a trailer and wanted to put this on the trailer. You probably need to get some blocks. So you go buy like a 2x6, 12 feet long, cut up some pieces. You hit one 2x4, and then you hit the other 2x6. You hit one of them, you hit another one, and then you get up onto a ramp. You know, I could do that. If I was going to haul this home myself, that's what I would do. Is a shipping person going to necessarily do that? I don't know. So a little bit leery of that. So sure, $300 and my car shows up on my door, that'd be great. How much wear and tear and damage on the front and all that stuff to go through that process? Yeah. But I could also do probably like $700 to $800 and have somebody with a bigger truck. So something like a 2500, 3500, or F250, F350, something like that, with a trailer, car hauler. Grab this thing and gently put it onto a car hauler and drag it up here. That's an option as well. But then you're talking about your cost of shipping and stuff like that. So one option. Okay, not going to go and say good, bad, whatever. But we got options, so that's kind of nice. Now, take a look at this next one here. Okay, they have their ad up and they're complaining about stuff, and the biggest complaint is the paint. Okay, yeah, it's 23 years old. So this is a 2001 Chevy Corvette. This one I believe is in Tennessee. They got 250,000 miles on it. So that means it's been driven. That means it's probably ready to drive. So I've got no. This would be kind of mid-range for me. So I got a car with like 167,000, and then I got a pair that's 360 and over. So throwing 250,000 miles. Yeah, some people, they're going to say, well, that engine's shot, that transmission shot, whatever. Okay, if that's how you want to feel about it. Okay. Or take care of your stuff, stay on top of the stuff, stay on top of your maintenance. Okay. For me, the reason we're looking at this, the reason that everything I own is made by General Motors is I believe it's quality. Right? And so I've got nothing against if this was 250 original miles on the engine, original miles on the transmission. I got nothing against that. Okay, I am perfectly fine with that, and so the miles doesn't concern me. If I got something with 250,000 miles on it, am I taking good care of it? I would, if it was mine. Is it well maintained? Which, of course, if something was mine, it would be. And do I feel comfortable just hopping in it and driving coast to coast? Obviously, I'm in the middle of the country, so that doesn't necessarily make sense. But could I drive to the coast? Could I drive 12 hours? I got no problem with that on a vehicle with 250,000 miles or 350,000 miles. Nothing. I got a truck. I got a Suburban. I got no problems hopping in either of those and heading to the beach from middle of nowhere, Oklahoma. I think this is probably in that category as well. You're able to jump in this thing. You're able to take it for a test drive. You're able to see that it's well maintained. You can, check the oil, things like that. There's services you can do to it. You want to, pull the transmission fluid, see what it looks like, things like that. But if this is a well-maintained car, do I have a problem hopping on a plane, flying somewhere, meeting somebody at the airport, and just driving off in this car that I just see? Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. So for me, 250,000 miles, not that big of a deal. More importantly, 250,000 miles should mean good bargain. Right? In reality, here's the thing. Two Corvettes pull up next to each other. They're sitting there at the stoplight. They're both, let's just say, 2001s, because this is the second one of these we saw. So you got these two Corvettes sitting side by side. Right? One of them's got 150,000 miles or 120,000 miles. The other one's got 250,000 miles. Do you see that at the stoplight? Probably not. Right? And they can both rev their engines. They can both peel out. They can both do a little burnout, whatever it is you want. And at the end of the day, do you want to pay more for one because it has less miles? Or you might rather have one that's probably just as good, just as reliable, and costs a little bit less. So I would completely be open to that type of scenario. So this one looks well taken care of. They've got good service records and everything for it. Let's just run through and take a look at these pictures. I love the setup there. So you got the hood up. You got the car in front of a nice little pond. I blocked out the license plates because I would like to buy these. So if this goes up and you see it, I don't want you jumping in and hunting these things down and stealing them from me. But it looks like we got probably factory lights on this. That's great. Looks... you'd think you'd probably do a little bit better job of this. I think they probably went in and said, oh, I'm going to clean this up. I think some people call it the waterfall. So you go in and say, I'm going to clean it up, and then you take the picture and you realize you got, streaks in there. If I was selling a car, probably make sure that my pictures didn't look like that. But that's just me. Besides, it's my birthday. We're trying to buy a car, not sell it. Looks like they've got they've got a nice kit for this. So if you want to change out your single DIN OEM radio, this is a double DIN. So I've seen these; they're actually really cheap. So this isn't anything where you go, oh wow, that's like a $500 custom stereo. No, this is probably like a $50, $60 kit. It shows you where to mount the holes to move things down and get yourself a little bit more space. And then you can put a double DIN receiver in here. This one, we can even see the model number, so if you want to go look it up and CarPlay and all that good stuff, not bad. And so I do kind of like that. Would I much rather they didn't spend money on that and I get to do it myself? Yeah, I mean, I'm all about let's save some money. So if we could do that. But it looks clean. It looks nice. Engine, alternator looks a little bit aged there, but could be 23 years old. Who knows? But there's mostly looks stock in here. That's fine. That's great. And so fairly decent. I'd be concerned if we open this up, it was completely dirty. I bought a truck like that one time. Got a great deal on it. Might be a little bit concerned if everything under here looked rusted, but I didn't really see that. So as long as you can live with this. Buying a car, hopping in it, and it's already been driven 251,000 miles. What is that? Like 10 times around the planet? So this car in the last 23 years could have been driven 10 times around the circumference of the Earth. So, kind of interesting to know. Gonna scare me? No. Might it scare other people? Absolutely. So we got the things that I like. They're not real happy with the paint, and that's respectable. That's great. They are forthcoming about that. So I'm not shocked. I'm not surprised. But that's fixable. Could be painted. Could be wrapped. Something like that. Okay. Probably big thing for me. It's about 10 hours away. So the plane ride a little bit tricky. So I might spend 5-6 hours getting there. By plane, and that's just the travel time. You got to get to the airport, you got to get through the airport, you got to get to your gate, probably have to change planes, that'd be the concern, then get to the other place, and then be ready to go pick up a car. So that's, one issue with this one, and I throw that out there just because if I wanted something like in Texas, I could go to Dallas, I could go to Houston. Those are actually hub cities for airlines. I could almost get there nonstop. So that's a little bit of an advantage. Now, let's take a look at another one. This one is kind of interesting. This one is blue instead of black. Okay, it's the only blue one. And the reason it makes a list is the value. Okay, I don't know if this guy's got a body shop or selling cars or whatever. He said he took this in on trade. So this could almost be like a Where's Waldo thing. How many license plates are in this picture? So I went in and took out the license plates. Again, some people's privacy. Not necessarily, want you to go find this car and steal it from me if I want it. Which, of all of these, probably something I don't know how I feel about this. So, guy takes us in as a trade. So, probably buying something new, buying something newer, buying something different. And maybe this car dealer takes it in, whatever. Okay. So he's got a bottom dollar on it. Doesn't necessarily want to keep it. Okay. Here we can see, first of all, headlights do come up. Second of all, looks like they got the original halogen bulbs and everything. Some people like that, some people don't. Potential for upgrade. Okay. So, that's a plus for me, I guess. It says it's got a small power steering leak. Okay, that could be an issue. Also says it has a transmission problem. Now, the interesting thing here, we talked about, there's two of these with transmission problems. One of them, it does not go into third, so you're not going to get to fourth. So you're kind of stuck in first and second gear. Here, It says it's very difficult to get into third gear. And then once you do, then you can get up to highway speeds. So that's a potential. I could hop in this car and potentially be able to drive away. Yikes. How do I feel about that? I think this has got 180,000 miles on it. Again, miles, no big deal. An obvious transmission problem. Yeah, I do worry about that. So, yeah, car's got 200, 300,000 miles on it. Okay, is it well maintained? No problem. Here, there's a problem. Obvious problem. A little bit of a problem, or a big problem, or however you want to look at it. Now, could it be solved the exact same way? Could I take this somewhere, they pull the transmission out, they rebuild it, they put it back in, and I'm ready to drive it home? Yeah. Okay. So this is 8 to 9 hours away. And the guy, I was honest about that. He was honest with me. He doesn't necessarily want me to buy this car. Okay? He would love to sell the car. That's always great. And I have a respect for somebody that's forthcoming about that. Okay? This guy wants to sell a car. Awesome. This guy doesn't necessarily want to sell a car to somebody from out of town that's going to just hop in and drive away. And, I don't necessarily know the guy's business or anything like that, but I have respect for somebody that would actually say that. Okay? He's not going to be like, oh, yeah, somebody drove the car in, and, I guess you could probably drive it out. He has concerns. Okay? The guy selling the car doesn't necessarily feel comfortable saying, drive this home. Okay. Now, does that mean we don't buy it? I don't know. It's not a disqualifier for me. Okay. Remember, I could go get a transmission fixed. Okay. That's just money, right? Okay. And my concern here isn't necessarily money. It's more time. Do I want to go somewhere? Do I want to spend 3 days in a hotel? Or risk that it could turn into more than 3 days? Okay. Everything. Now, when I say it's about money or not about money, I don't necessarily mean I am made out of money. Right? But there is an idea that I could go in and purchase a transmission or pay somebody to rebuild it or whatever. And if that's really what it takes to fix the problem, then it kind of is money. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go in and say, yeah, I'll take this and throw $25,000 at it and then hope to drive it home. Okay? This is very measured. I have an idea of what I want to spend. I have a budget for what I want to spend. And yes, there are cars that will drive home and then the upper end of that budget. There are cars that may not make it home and they're at the lower end of that budget. And then there's the repair cost to get there. So that is kind of my mindset. I'm okay with that. And so, we communicate back and forth and let me know. One thing I will say, this guy gave me a price. Great price. I liked it. Okay. Power steering. I'm not necessarily a power steering guy. I don't necessarily know exactly what caused that. I think it's some hydraulics and things. So is there a problem with like rack and pinion steering? Okay. No idea how to fix that. Is it some hydraulic lines? Is it a pump or something? I don't know. Okay. Is it a little leak where I need power steering fluid, every 2 or 3 days? Is it a leak where I'm going to need a power steering fluid every 10 minutes? Okay. Definitely can't drive it home for 9 hours if I got to stop every 10 minutes to put power steering fluid in. That's not going to work. So that's a major concern. But he explained all these things. The thing he didn't explain is he sent me some pictures. There's a cracked windshield. This car has a heads-up display. That windshield is almost 2 to 3 times regular windshield price. So for me, I'm thinking, we go with a new windshield that's, around $400. Okay. Probably the last one I bought was less than that. And now they're, with inflation and everything, they're a little bit more than that. But no, $1,100, $1,200 to get a new windshield for this. So that was kind of shocking. Now, I told the guy that. Guy told me, we could work on price with that. So, new windshield, which, I'm going to hop in and drive it home anyway, if it will drive. Cracked windshield, I'll worry about that later. Knowing that there's a price, knowing that he's going to work on the price of the car, it's apples and apples. Okay? You got 3/4 of an apple and there's 1/4 of an apple, or you got half an apple and half an apple. The budget stays the same. Car goes down, repair cost goes up. That's, no big deal. Could people complain about the headache? I guess you could. Could I go buy this and say, put a new transmission in, and while it's sitting at a transmission shop, Safelite shows up and puts in a windshield? that's no inconvenience. So, certain things I'm worried about, certain things I'm not. Let's take a look at this. Again, 20 different license plates in the picture. Doesn't necessarily look too bad. Here you can see a little bit of age on the paint and everything. This looks like stock lights. Great. Interior's decent. Looks like a little broken piece of something. Missing piece over here. I actually took the time to figure out what that was and what the replacement cost was. So no big deal. Yeah, it's there. It's missing, I don't know, 20 bucks maybe. And I got it back. Do I like the tan interior? Not so much. Could that be changed? Yeah. I mean, if your budget allows for it, it could. Probably the biggest thing is if you want to do something like wrap the car and change the color. Your outside of your car is blue. Now your inside is blue as well. So that might be a big detriment. Got a little crack here. Can this be replaced? Sure. Under the hood, looks like it's got the little cover over here. Looks like it doesn't have it over here. Okay, I have to go find a cover. Did have a bad battery, so guy said it has to be jumped or whatever. But once again, he did go in and say he actually got a new battery. So battery was identified as a problem up front, and he kind of cleaned that up and said he got that taken care of. So not an issue with the battery. So if I wanted to, should turn the key, should start, should drive under its own power. And, I think we'd probably be in good shape there. I went and looked this up. I can't remember what this is called. But this is a little piece here. I think it comes with a bottom. So you can get like this bottom little kick panel or whatever it is in this little top piece. So this pops out. And there's a screw there. So that you can then unbolt this in a couple different places. This then can come out. And you can buy a replacement for this. So looks kind of bad, but you're talking about a couple $100 and you fix that. And here you can kind of see a little, crack in the dash. Is that going to be annoying? Yes. Could I drive 9 hours with that? Sure. Could I put this in a shop for 3 days and get the windshield replaced while I'm there? Yeah. Also, a little bit of a side note, I did some additional research on this, just because when I saw the crack, I did go in and look up exactly what windshield I needed. And like I said, it's expensive. Now, if I wanted to, if I'm not necessarily a big heads-up display guy, you can actually buy the original windshield. It really is around $400. And so some people, they talk about heads-up display versus non-heads-up display, or HUD versus non-HUD windshields. Some people say you got to have it. Some people say it's a nice to have. Some people say they don't necessarily notice it. Right? I personally have never had a heads-up display vehicle. I've driven some. I've driven one, just one. But if that's something you wanted, maybe it's worth the extra price to go get the specific windshield for it. Maybe not. And so, you could go in and kind of cut a corner there. So that's something where I can budget $1,000 and actually spend about $400. So a little bit of a savings there. Use that to go in and replace this. So some loose wires and stuff like that. I don't necessarily think any of this is too bad. I don't think that they could have, somebody went into the trouble to put in a non-stock radio. Could they have gone in and gotten a double DIN unit here? I would have. And in fact, that's an upgrade I would make. All of this can come out. You can replace this, and then you've got a nice bigger space here. This gets moved down, and you've got the ability to go in and get new and modern technology and all that good stuff. So I like that. So it's a little rough. It's priced accordingly. It's a little bit of a gamble, and maybe it would even pay off. So kind of something to think about. So, couple things here. It's cheap. 180,000 miles, 9 hours away. Power steering leak, no AC. I didn't talk about the AC. My AC guy would have to tell me what my options are with that. Other big detriment, it's blue. Could it be wrapped a different color? Yes. How does that affect the waterfall? Could it be, could I wrap it in something blue? Could I get it painted blue? Sure. Right? We'll just have to go and see how that would play out. But I love black on black. I really like that combination. So that's kind of a knock on this one. Okay, let's take a little one more of these. So 1998, so a little bit older, but a little bit closer. So this isn't as far away. Biggest problem, the seller. Okay? This, I think, looks like a nice car. I like this. We can take a look at the pictures here. Looks nice. It's in Texas. Once again, got the little cover here. So just throw the license plate up on the dash, and law enforcement is happy in that regard. And as the owner of a vehicle, you would be happy because you got the nice little plate. Also, you lose this, try finding the OEM replacement for it. Also, try finding the OEM replacement in your body color. So that can be a little bit of a challenge. So you might go with something aftermarket, a little bit cheaper, have to modify or screw it in or something like that. I like the idea. This thing's ready to go on the front end here. Now, it's got, it shows its age. It's got the little scrapes and scratches and things like that. I think there's a little damage to a quarter panel, but looks like a good, clean body. Looks like it needs a little bit of tender loving care. Roll up the windows, put the top on, doesn't leak. That's important. Looks like, what is that, Z06 wheels in there? Again, Corvette insert here. Looks like stock lights. Like I said, I'd probably go with LED halos, go with the little F1 emblem there, maybe even LEDs in here. Just a couple things I could do to kind of trick this out and make it look nice. So I like that what I'd be buying would be stock and somewhat easy to go in and work with. It's got new tires. So nice rims, new tires, those are big pluses to me. Because if I want to hop in this thing and drive it home, that's kind of important, right? I got no problem going and finding a transmission shop. So if I were going to buy a car, it's got a bad transmission, fly down, tow it to a shop, replace the transmission, no big deal. I don't necessarily want to go and shop for tires. Okay? You've seen, 17s and 18s. You've seen, like 20s and, 21s or 22s on the back. Different size tires. And so you're buying a pair of tires in one size, pair of tires on the other size. They are not cheap tires. I think we all know that. That doesn't necessarily sound fun. So I know my priorities are just completely jacked up. People think, oh yeah, people replace tires all the time. People don't replace engines all the time. Yeah, you're probably right. But in this case, I'd be concerned about Corvette tires on the road. And that's model specific. Okay? I bought a Suburban one time and, drove it 20 miles and said, oh, I should look and see if I can get tires. And pulled into this Walmart to go buy some tires. And there's like one guy and 50 cars needing tires. He's like, I can't get to you today. And I'm like, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, tires for a Suburban, tires for a truck, no big deal. Tires for a Corvette, probably a big deal, probably not something I'd want to go and have to shop for. So, interesting how your priorities change on things like that. So, just sharing my thought processes on this. So, yeah, tires that I could drive it home on, that's good. Okay. So, a lot of stock, a lot of things. I think the inside looks nice. See, there's the dude's plate. So, hop in the car, grab the plate, throw it up here on the dash. Keeps the police happy. Okay. If you're in Texas, or lots of other states. So some people don't want to, I hate those things on the front. That's just me, but, it is what it is. But I love black and red. Okay. So it is a black car. It's got some nice red inserts in here, nice center console cover, nice little accent here. I like that. Okay. Black and red on the airbag cover. It's got the double DIN unit, so this has been upgraded. So you've got the insert unit here to make this double DIN. You've got the radio beneath it. You've got your air conditioning. So that's nice. Again, would I prefer to do that stuff myself? Sure. I guess the good news is I'm going to buy this thing and drive 5 hours. I've got a radio. Now, I'm not necessarily that concerned about that because, well, I don't know how noisy it would be, but, can I charge my phone? Sure. Can I, listen to the radio or whatever with that? Yeah. Now I can actually Bluetooth to this thing and, listen to my stuff on the car stereo, which this one's got, subs and amps and things like that. So it's probably got a good sound system. Okay. And so that would be kind of good. So I like the look of this. I like the inside and outside. A little bit, there's a couple scuffs. I think there's like a crack in one of the quarter panels. Overall, though, fairly decent shape. I think mechanically, it's pretty sound. Now, I think. Biggest problem is the seller. So runs, drives good, all this stuff. Flaky seller. Okay? Puts his car up and then gets like 50 responses and, nobody, or 50 inquiries and doesn't respond. Or he'll respond back like 3 weeks later with, a word. Is this still for sale? Yes. Okay. When can I come see it? Now. Who does that? So this car, moderately priced. Probably, remember it's a little bit older. I think it does have a little bit less miles. So probably like 150,000 miles. So that's less than 180. So we got like 120 and needs a new transmission. Period. Here you got 150. And drivable. You got 180, needs a new transmission. You got 250, and everything's fine. So from 120 all the way up to 250, this is, on the lower end. This is second lowest miles of these four. And so, in decent shape. Some people are going to like 150, some people are not. 5 hours away, so could I get in it and drive it away? I don't know. And I say that because this guy is... just difficult to deal with. I'd like somebody that would answer questions. I'd like him to send me some more pictures. Is the car still listed? Yes. Does he respond? Sometimes. Do I feel comfortable going 5 hours away to meet this guy? Probably not. That would be my biggest thing. Also, if the guy doesn't want to be forthcoming, remember, we talked about a car where the guy says, yeah, I'll take this money, and you would think that he'd be interested in selling it, and then says, I don't know if this is a good car for you, because he questions the dependability of it, and he's very honest and forthcoming about it. Okay? So I think we'd all much rather have people that are honest about that. Okay? This car is a lemon. I don't think you should buy it. Awesome. This car is going to need some work. I don't think you should buy it. That's fine. That's the car I'd like to buy, is the one where the guy is honest about it. Okay. Here, who knows? Okay. Does the AC work? Maybe we'll get a response. Okay. Do you have service records? I don't know. For me, if I was trying to sell a car, I'd answer these questions. Okay. And yeah, I know that in certain situations you can, post something for sale and you can get tons of people that are interested in buying it and or just, kicking the tires or whatever, figuratively. And that can become a little bit overwhelming. But I think if you want to sell a car, at least be back and forth, have that communication and things like that. So the biggest issue here, first of all, is the guy selling it. Okay. And so I don't know anything about him, most people, if you're looking at buying things in a wide range, it's one thing if I want to go down to a local Chevy dealer and say, I'd like to buy a car. There's people that have been selling those cars there my whole life. There's the guy that the car dealership's named after. His dad started it. I come from a town where, there's couple of those, and that's one thing. Some guy selling cars on the other side of the country. Now, I'm not afraid of that, and I'll tell you what, there's some people that are great. When I was 20 years old, I bought my first car off of a website that people hadn't really heard of before. It was called eBay. And so you say what you'd want to pay for something, and then maybe if you're the high bidder, you get it. So I wanted a Bronco, bought a Bronco, made arrangements with a guy back and forth, was able to pay for it online, hopped on a bus, went to the coast. I get off in front of the, what is that, like Trump Taj Mahal or whatever was on the in Atlantic City. Go down there, guy picks me up in a limo, takes me to the car dealership, shows me my Bronco, all that good stuff. And yeah, great experience. I've bought all sorts of other cars that way. I bought cars from sellers in the middle of nowhere. I bought a car from a kid that got a speeding ticket and his parents made him sell his Camaro. So yeah, there's a big element of people and how well can you trust those people. And yeah, there's some people that are great. Here, kind of question that. And then with that, how dependable is everything else? Okay, what do they call that? Like fruit of the poisonous tree. This guy seems fishy, so all of his answers are fishy. Does your car run? Yeah. Are the tires good? Yeah. Do you keep it serviced well? Yeah. Does he really? So I don't know. So that's kind of a big issue there. So I know it's easy to go in and say, you live in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, go find a dealer in the middle of nowhere, Oklahoma, and buy you a Corvette. I could do that. I could also pay, true story, twice as much as everything that's listed here. So if I wanted to, I could walk down and actually have a car that looks just like these today. And would I drive it off the lot? Yes. Do I feel comfortable that it would run if I drive it off the lot? Yeah. What would I pay? And I would say exactly 2x. In some cases, I'd almost say 3x. Now, if you know anything about buying cars, that's part of your premium from buying from a dealer. First of all, they're a dealer. They're supposed to respond to your emails, your phone calls, you walk in. For some of you, we go to car dealerships and we hate that process. You set foot on the lot, somebody comes over, they want to sell you a car. In my mind, I'm trying to do this thing online and I would like people to do the same thing. Okay? Hey, can I buy your car? And I want them to answer all my questions. Okay? I go to the car dealership, I want it to be the other way. Leave me alone. I'll contact you. Okay? So somewhere there's got to be a happy medium. But there's also a premium for that. Okay? I do know when I walk into a car dealer's lot, they'd like to sell me those cars. People on the internet? You never know. Okay? So, a little bit of a risk and reward, a little bit of something to think about. Okay? So, birthday coming up. Want to buy a car, want to buy a Corvette. Pretty sure I want it to be a convertible. Love for it to be black. Love for it to be a great deal. Okay, that is a big thing for me. And so yeah, can I just walk into a car dealership and buy a Stingray Corvette today? I could. Do I want to buy? And here's a technical term. Do I want to buy a depreciating asset like that? No. Right now, I have a couple of vehicles that are kind of, high dollar. You could spend, $50, $60, $70, $80,000 on one of these. But I'd much rather somebody else spent that money. And then when they got rid of it, they took that loss. So you buy something for $80,000, you sell it for $5,000, somebody lost $75,000. I'd much rather that be them than me. Right? And some of you are like, well, how does a car lose $75,000? Well, that's cars. Okay? They're depreciating assets. So if I buy something that is a depreciated asset, I feel good about that. All of these, I think, would classify as that. There are some that are better than others, some that are better maintained than others. Okay? There is a part of that whole process of selling. Right? So yeah, are these cars worth twice as much as what I'd be paying for them? They could be. Okay? Sure, if I buy it and it explodes on the way home, probably not. Okay? If I buy it and it purrs like a kitten and runs and drives great, I got a great deal. Would I love to buy all 4 of these? I would. I'd probably get killed. I'd probably lose a house. I'd probably be kicked out of my neighborhood. Maybe I need to go start a car dealership. But all of these are great cars. All of these I have my interest in. All of these have contacted the seller, tried to negotiate something, tried to plan something out, and I would love to purchase one of these. Now, might something else come along in the next couple days? It's possible. But for now, this is what's out there. This is what I like. This is my thought process, and I just wanted to go in and share that with you. So hopefully you will subscribe and like this video, and come back and check out the channel in a couple days and see how the story ends.